So I love art, and in my ideal retribalized society, art would be the main function of human life. I think creation. I mean, we've already got the technology to support and sustain ourselves with our basic needs: food, shelter, water. These things can be provided for us relatively easily, I think. And with the rest of our spare time, I think we should become artists. But anyways, I guess the question is, what is art? And art criticism is definitely a difficult thing to do. Um, and I definitely agree that an objective or objectivist critic, like, I wouldn't want to even go near an Ayn Rand critique, because I'm sure it would turn art into a science experiment or something, or break it down into its logical components, as if a work of art could really ever do that. Um, but there's lots of problems with the opposite view too. If everything is subjective and it's all just in the eyes of the beholder, then it becomes really hard to say what art is. Because if if beauty is all in my own judgment and my own perception, then everything is art. If I see it that way, and I mean, I don't disagree with that necessarily, because that's a good way of really seeing the world directly again. Because I mean, if you're gonna see the world you experience, the everyday world you experience, as an artistic creation or expression, you have to be directly present to it. You can't represent it. You can't be thinking about it too much necessarily. It has to be, aesthetic experience is immediate. There's no distance between you and the artwork. The artwork in this case being whatever it is that you're finding beautiful in the world, that's not framed anywhere. I mean, I guess that's what a subjective uh, view of art does. It unframes art, and art becomes something that you can find anywhere. And I can't. I like that idea, actually. But then that word art just becomes so such a loose and widely ambiguous word. I mean, what does it refer to at that point? It just refers to our own um, experience. When we just really pay attention to the world, then art happens. Or when we really lose ourselves in the world, maybe art happens. Um, but I mean, I think, like, I like to write, so that would be it's the art where I'm most expressive. Whether it's poetry or prose or philosophy or whatever it is, it has to make sense in some way. I mean, some poetry, I guess you could, write some Lewis Carroll like poems, and not necessarily. I mean, his poems still make sense. There's not English sense. They make rhythmic sense. But still, I mean, what I'm saying is there needs to be some standard, at least in the case of writing. You can't really throw a bunch of letters on a page unless you were trying to frame that for whatever reason and say, look at that. Then I guess it's art too. I mean, this is a tough thing to talk about, and I don't think anybody should ever decide, like, to be on the objectivist or the subjectivist side. I think we have to maintain a balance between the two, so that we can even understand what we mean by art, or by beauty, or any of these words. Um, yeah, I don't have much else to say on the subject. I think got all out there. So thanks for listening.